Welcome to the Uncommon Transformation television series.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening, and welcome to 2015. My name is Priscilla, your host for tonight. Today recorded the hottest day here in the UK. We're told we have 33.5 degrees, and for that is the hottest day since 2006. So, wow, we applaud. I wonder what they're saying in Kuwait, in Nigeria, okay, so let me not bore you with that. Moving on swiftly, we're still waiting for the royal baby also. We understand that our Duchess has been in labor for the past 13 or so hours. We wish you all the best, Kate. By God's grace, you're going to bring forth our heir, and we wish you and the baby very well. Now, let's get on with the program. Tonight on 2015, we're going to be discussing the subject matter of our Constitution. As you know, 2015 is all about the Constitution. What do you know about the Constitution? What do you understand about the Constitution? And how relevant is it to you and I as Nigerians and to the country Nigeria? In a little while, the lines are going to be open, and you can call in and give us your views and what you understand and what you don't understand. I do have a guest here in the studio with me. But before I go any further, I'd like to say a very big thank you to all of you who joined me last week. Douglas, you called me from Sheffield. Tunde, I heard from you in London. Mark, also from London. Ade called, and Princess Rose also called. Vincent also called. If I did not mention your name, it's not because I'm leaving you out, but I would just like you to know that I appreciate everybody who called, and your contributions were all wonderful. And if you couldn't get through last week because the lines were so busy, I hope that tonight you'll be able to get through, and I hope that you'll be able to make your point. But remember that when you call, please just do tune down the volume of your TV first and foremost, and just get to your point so that others will have an opportunity to also contribute. Well, don't go away. I'm going to go on a short break, but when I come back, I will be speaking with my guest who is joining me tonight. He's a solicitor, so he's going to be able to explain in detail, a lot that happened last week. We're going to be focusing very much on this whole business of child marriage that was started by the Senate in the House last week. So if you didn't hear anything about it, we're going to discuss it in detail, so stay tuned. I will see you soon. Don't go away.
Watching BN Television, the Bridging the Gap channel.
Hello and welcome back. Before I go further, I have in the studio with me Sir Chibuzo Ubochi. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good, good. Before we went on the break there, I did mention the fact that we'll be discussing the subject matter of the whole child marriage thing transpired to the shock and to the dismay of virtually everybody I know that has heard of it, and I'm sure to you out there as well. This occurred in the House of Senate last week in Nigeria. Let me just give you a brief history. Last week, they were discussing the Constitution. They started off discussing the subject matter of citizenship. Effectively, they were talking about taking away the age of consent for if you wanted to denounce your citizenship. And this is in Chapter 3,
Chapter 3.
Section 29, okay, of our Constitution. So they were discussing whether or not they should be able to take away that age for which a Nigerian citizen can denounce their citizenship, previously held at 18. Whilst they were having this conversation, Senator Yarima, former senator of
the governor of
former governor of Kano State.
No, Kano State, Zamfara State.
Zamfara State, pardon me. Former governor of Zamfara State. If you recall, in 2010, he caused a hoopla when he announced to all of us that he was marrying a 13-year-old girl. And that was bad enough at the time. But anyhow, as they were having this conversation in the house, he rises up and he says, you know, this actually is against his Muslim understanding. That he, you know, he now progressed from being able to denounce citizenship to us talking, them discussing the subject matter of marriage. And he now says, you know, it's against his Islam to have an age for a girl. And the one went on to say that he would like for the age to be taken away so that, you know, anyhow, that was how we progressed or disintegrated into the situation that we're in today, because a number of senators agreed with him and actually voted to say that they wanted to change the law to remove that age of consent. So the age of consent will now be dropped if this is agreed with all concerned, because it still has to go to the House of Rep and they also have to vote on it. So as far as I understand it, it's not quite law yet. Am I right, sir?
It's not law.
Okay.
It's not law.
It's not quite law yet, but they have voted that they want to have this to become law. And it's since this happened on Thursday, it's been unbelievable. If you haven't yet signed the petition, you can go on my Facebook page and you will find it there, and make sure that you sign it. If you haven't yet added your voice to this, please do so. Because what they are effectively proposing is that there should be no age for a child, a girl especially, the girl child, to marry. Now, since then, Senator Yarima has responded, because there's been an outcry of criticisms of so many things. And he responded by telling us all that the problems in Nigeria, there were more problems in Nigeria. I'm just, you know, I'm paraphrasing, because, you know, he did list it all. There are more problems in Nigeria to do with women and girls that we should be worrying about, and we shouldn't be concerning ourselves with this. Wow. I don't know about you, but he's a senator. Those problems he mentioned that are there that we should be concerning ourselves with, I expect him to also not only concern himself with those problems, but also that of a 13-year-old bride. Because you see, when a child is married at that age, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that he said within Muslim law, he's ready to give away his 6-year-old child for marriage, and he can marry a girl as early as any age, but is subject to the man to allow the girl to be of full age before the marriage can be consummated. But when you consider that, who is there to regulate that? And at what age are you now going to consummate this marriage? If you consummate at 11, you're still putting her in danger. If you consummate at 9, at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, she is in trouble. She is not fully developed. She doesn't have the capacity to really hold a baby. It is a very, you know, it's challenging enough being old enough to carry a child, to be able to carry a child and to give birth and to be well, and the child to be well. That in itself is a miracle. And just because it happens so, you know, every day, and most women don't say, but many don't survive the process, and they're old enough. Very little thing will just take you away and the baby. And yet this man seems to think that it's all well and good, you know, for a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 11, 12, 13-year-old to have to go through that. By the way, when they begin to become sexually active from such an early age, the damage is unrepairable. It destroys their organs. It causes internal bleeding. I don't think I have all the time tonight to go through everything that they suffer. It is not fair. Like I said, if you have not signed the petition, add your voice to it, because we all need to stand up and say this is not allowed. I am glad to say that we've had a number of Nigerians, you know, add their voice to this, to say, I mean, Stella Damascus, she was mad. She just went crazy. I thought, okay, I get her point. And then, you know, we did have a funny candidate also adding his own voice to this. You know, it's got to stop. But I think the best one was the former vice president, who said, my daughter cannot even be married unless she actually has graduated from university. And so, you know, we really all need to consider this. But let me stop going on. Let's talk to my guest. Sir.
There's always two sides of a story. So that's why I don't quite understand where the force is coming all about.
Okay, you don't understand where the force is coming.
I don't understand the force is coming because the Constitution is quite clear. To interpret the Constitution, there are things that you can use to interpret the Constitution. The preamble, the subsections. And this particular subsection 29 is under Chapter 3, isn't it?
Yes.
And it says citizenship.
That's right.
So everything about it was about citizenship.
That's right.
Then we went right down to Section 29 that tells you how you can renounce or denounce your citizenship.
Yeah.
And what it only says is that a person of full age can denounce
their citizenship.
So that's so simple. So there's no talk about marriage.
Full age being what?
Yeah, I was coming down to that.
Okay,
they went right down to Section 29(4).
Right.
That now defines full age.
Okay.
And it started by saying this definition only applies to that citizenship, to Section 29(1). So it limits the scope. It didn't say full age is defined for the whole Constitution. It said this particular definition only refers to Section 29. And it defines it. It went down to subsection 29 sub 4A and said a person of 18 years.
All right.
Then section, where the problem now came is on subsection B that says a woman that is married. So there's no problem with it.
There's no problem with it?
There's no problem with it. It should be the male that should be fighting and say, why not a man also that is married? It should be a person that is married.
Yeah.
So it presumes that there are some people that are below 18 that may want to denounce their citizenship, isn't it?
Yeah, well, if you say a woman that is married, but then we take away the age of consent for denouncing citizenship. Yeah, we're talking about denouncing. So a person of 18 years can denounce citizenship. That's right.
And also a woman that is married. So a British that is married at the age of 16, British, people from Britain, Scotland, they can get married at the age of 16, subject to consent of a parent. A Nigerian that's in Britain that is married at the age of 16 can denounce his citizenship as a Nigerian.
Right.
So that's an advantage.
It's an advantage.
It's an advantage.
To denounce your citizenship.
Yeah, if you don't want to, there's a reason.
Let's just say that we're talking about denouncing citizenship here.
That's specifically
that. At the age of 16 or at the age of 10, are you old enough to be able to do that? To understand enough to say that I want to denounce my citizenship? That's
why it says a person that is married, that's a person of full age. If take, for example, a 16-years-old in Britain that is married, that happen to be a Nigerian and wants to denounce their citizenship, they can do that. A Nigerian in Egypt that is married at the age of 12, I'm not saying, let's agree on something. Child marriage is wrong. Okay. That's the basic. We must agree on that. We all agree on that.
So your personal view is that child marriage is wrong.
It's wrong. Okay. It should never happen.
All right. Yeah. So now, going back to the Constitution now, it's saying that you can denounce your age.
Yeah, citizenship.
Of Nigeria. Yeah. Before, it said if you were up to 18 years old.
If you're 18 years old, you can denounce
your citizenship. That's where you had the right to do it.
Yeah.
Now that they include the subsection B that you mentioned here, that now talks about a woman that is married.
Yeah.
And that's the bit where we're all up in arms about, isn't it?
What I presume is that in certain circumstances, we may have a woman that is married, that is not up to 18.
Right, that's right.
I'll give you an example of British law and Scottish law.
But, you know, Scottish law permits you to marry with the consent of your parents at 16. Yeah. Here in the UK, you must be 18. Not here in London or in England.
No, it's still with the consent of your parents. You can get married at the age of 16.
In England?
Yeah.
I thought it was 18 that you could make that choice of being married. You weren't allowed to marry before 18.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but 18 you can get married on your own.
Yes.
But if you want to get married before that, from 16 to 18, those 2 years gap.
Yeah, those 2 years gap. I know that Scotland permits it.
Yeah.
In Scotland, I think at 16, you don't need consent. You can actually marry.
Okay, that's
One of them permits that at 16. And it's not England.
No, England permits with the consent of your parents.
Right, okay.
To get married. So let's forget about England, Scotland, in Egypt, or say in wherever in those countries that permit child marriage.
Right.
It's not right. But if you happen to be a Nigerian in that country, you can denounce
your citizenship. But where we have no no age. We have nothing barring the age of which, from when this can happen.
No, there's nothing. Remember, Nigeria is a federal. We have the Child Right Act.
Right.
There's an act that specifically says a valid marriage can only be conducted.
It is illegal, yeah.
Can only be conducted someone that is 18. What we should be clamoring and what we should be saying is that those states, about 12 of them from mostly the northern states, that have not domesticated these laws, should domesticate that in their own states. That's what we should be clamoring about.
Right.
Yeah.
No, so the law that we have that protects the child, that says that as a child you cannot marry before the age of 18, it's not a general law, lest each state domesticates it. Yeah. So far, every state has not done this.
Yeah, 24, I think 24 states have done that, and about 12 or 13 hasn't done that.
So is Zamfara one of the states that has done it?
I guess.
Just wondering.
I think they are one of them.
They are one of them.
Yeah.
So effectively, Senator Yarima himself has already broken the law.
Yes. No, they haven't domesticated it, so they haven't broken the law.
It's not domesticated in Zamfara. Okay.
But it's domesticated, say, in Lagos. In Lagos, it's 21. You can only get married when you are 21.
You can't marry before
then you have to get permission and all those consent.
Okay.
So we are doing well in Nigeria. I don't want us Nigerians beating up our...
But we must understand this Section B clearly.
Yeah.
In as much as it was speaking of citizenship.
Denouncing of citizenship.
In as much as that was the case, and now we now move down to this Section B, which is about a woman that is married.
A woman that is married.
Yeah. This woman that is married, the age of that has been taken away.
No, there's no age.
There's no age of... Well, it hasn't been taken away, but they're proposing to take it away.
No, the Constitution was... There's no change in the Constitution as of now. The Constitution was the same. It's just a review. So the senators were trying to delete that particular section.
Yes.
And these other senators said they shouldn't delete it. And I think they shouldn't their own self... It's something that is not for their own advantage. Let's take, for example, the senators...
Because he said it was contrary to Sharia law.
No, I think what he was saying is that the Constitution cannot amend what Sharia law or customary law. And that's how the Nigerian Constitution has been all the while. Nigerian Constitution doesn't touch those custom and Sharia laws.
I understand that. Custom and Sharia laws or not, the Constitution is a governing document that governs all of us.
That's correct.
Right? So therefore, the custom and the Sharia law has to come within, because our customary laws are different depending on what part of the country you come from, is it not? Because it's different customary practices. And so if we have, we cannot then, all subscribe to Sharia law, for instance, or customary laws for the East when we're not from the East and we're from the North, or customary law from the South when we're not, from the South and we're from the East or the West. Therefore, surely the most important document, the most important governing instrument that is above all the others is the Constitution.
That's correct.
So therefore, if the Constitution, if it then says that we are now going to delete this section here, which would normally give an age barrier, and we're going to take that away and delete it, surely that is now going to affect everybody as a whole, regardless of Sharia or customary.
That's the point, but what the senators that were against deleting that were trying to say was the Constitution should not, the Constitution cannot be drafted in such a way that we hinder the Sharia law or the customary. If you write the Constitution and say you cannot get married at the age of, before the age of 18, that may affect Sharia law. That may affect some customary laws. And that's what they're just trying to say. The Constitution should be a working document that every other law can tap into. But not making specifically, we can't do a constitution that will specifically tackle every aspect of life.
Well, no, but then I think if I recall correctly from, as I've read up on this now, my understanding is that the Sharia law itself actually seeks for or says that, you must be of age to marry. It forbids child marriage.
Same as our constitution has not mentioned anything about marriage. There are about 31 clauses. 31 clauses there are up for amendment. None of them deals with marriage.
No, it doesn't deal with marriage. But then when we take that clause away and we stipulate it, will it not filter down to it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, because for example, the 13 years old girl that has not been married to a senator can denounce Nigerian citizen and come to the UK and seek for asylum or do something else. I'm just saying, so he has the right, he has the right now to say,
I hear
I'm
you,
going
but
to denounce.
I need to say something though. Coming to the UK and seek for
No,
asylum, I understand what you're saying, but just today, you know, the UK are saying that there will be a going around town with a message displaying that go home to your country or risk being arrested. But we're not going to go into that today.
No, we're not going into that today. You can go to the neighboring country or leave Nigeria and say, because I'm a 13 years old and I've been forced to get married, I'm now denouncing my citizenship. And I'm moving out of Nigeria. I'm no longer in Nigeria.
Yeah, but are you old enough but are you old enough to say I would denounce citizenship? Is that 13-year-old, would they know that there's such a thing as denouncing your citizenship?
That's where we should come in, education.
But you see, that is not as free. But bear with me, sir. We're going to go on a short break. But when we come back, please, the phone lines will be open and you are free. You've been listening to us and of course you've been reading through all of these things that's been happening over the last few days. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. See you in a bit. Don't go away.
These are the best breed of global leadership. After them stands in crowning glory a visionary and dynamic apostle of the gospel of their virtues. Like Martin Luther King and Nnamdi Azikiwe, he is gifted with the power of oratory.
Education must be free, so that the children of the poorest of the poor can go to school.
Like Obafemi Awolowo, he is the grand commander of free education. Like Ahmadu Bello, he is the symbol of unity.
We therefore, as Nigerians, cannot overlook the urgency of now to move this nation forward.
Like Nelson Mandela, he is the true emancipator of the people. Like Mother Teresa and Aminu Kano, he is a lover and true friend of the poor. Like Odumegwu Ojukwu, he is courage personified. And like Kwame Nkrumah, he is a detribalized Pan-Africanist.
Owele Rocha Sokorocha, save our generation. Even the children say so. To join this call, visit our website on Generation Rochas USA at www.generationrochas.com.
Welcome to the Uncommon Transformation television series.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. I believe I have a caller on the line already. Clara, you are waiting to say something. Hi, Clara. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening. I just want to, commend this program.
Okay.
I just want to make a contribution regarding the child marriage issue.
Please do.
Nigeria is such a big country, but it's a shame that we don't have, a kind of equal opportunity, for everybody, even the children. It's a shame that today in Nigeria, we don't even have a children commission. We have women affairs, and I believe they're saying that the women affairs also have, the children affairs, built into women affairs. I don't believe in that. I believe the children should have a children commission. People who will be responsible, to clearly make policies that should guard children, that should protect children in Nigeria, and people who are supposed to be implementing this policy. Because these, the so-called lawmakers who are, now telling us, how right it is to have a child get married at the age of 10 is a shame, because they don't even seem to know their biology very well. You know, they're not qualified to be where they are today. Because if they have the basic WAEC qualification, it should not even be heard of in the whole wide world that a child of 10 should be given out, away in marriage. Is a shame. It's really a shame for me to hear that. A Nigerian set of lawmakers are saying that. And again, they should also communicate regularly with children. There are people who have gone through this, early age marriage, and they're suffering a lot of pain. A lot of things are going on, in their lives. They should speak to children, not just making policies, and not going to, speak to those who are touched by this, who are directly touched by this policy they claim to be making. No, the children don't even know what is going on in Nigeria.
No.
They just hear things, they hear things, they see things happen on television. And for crying out loud, these are those people who are going to be leaders of tomorrow. We should include them. We should let them know what's going on. We should give them a chance to speak for themselves.
That's right. Clara, I appreciate your call. Thank you so much for that. I have another caller. I have Vincent on the line. Good evening, Vincent.
Yeah, good evening, Priscilla.
How are you, sir?
Not too bad. Now, you see, sometimes you wonder what we are up to in Nigeria, really. Yes, I should call it an obnoxious proposal or thinking. How can they have problems in Nigeria to think about how to mend the country? And you're talking about a 13-year-old girl. I mean, it shows how naive these people are. I mean, if you read the American Constitution during the drafting of it, there was a page on the Constitution, the draft. When they took it to Abraham Lincoln, I mean, it just pulled a page out of it. He said, this is obnoxious. Look, who asked you to pull this type of thing? You just pulled it off and asked them, go and redraft this thing. I mean, look, and they're thinking, nobody there thinking again for Nigeria.
Okay.
13-year-old slavery going mad in Nigeria, going back to slavery. If they have Sharia laws, let me finish. They have these 12 or 13 states, Sharia states. Let them do what they want out there, and not to put it in the Constitution as if it's a constitutional matter.
But even, thank you so much, Vincent, for that. Even the Sharia states, because, we've had a fine lawyer written, she gave such a great, a sophisticated, objective view on this whole thing, because she told us about the Sharia aspect of it. She also told us about the law part of it. I'm speaking about Mariam Uwasi. And, she broke it down. And from my understanding of what she tells us, even Sharia law does not allow, it doesn't permit for children to be married off. I have Princess Rose on the line. Princess Rose, good evening.
Good evening, and how are you?
I am good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm fine, beautiful.
Good.
Keep on beautiful more and more.
Oh, thank you.
I still love your earpack back.
Thank you.
What I want to tell you, sir, every one of us should go to your, your Facebook. Your Facebook name, because most of us don't know it.
Oh, okay. Let me do that quickly. Priscilla, that's Priscilla. My surname spelled Nwikpo. My name will come up shortly, so when it does, just look for me there, and you'll see all the information. And if you haven't signed the petition, please click on it and sign it.
I'll do it as soon as I get the name.
All right, it's on the screen now.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Princess Rose.
Oh, wait. I have to contribute too.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Muslim, the law in the land of Muslim, that is their law as old age. That is the fastest law. Even in our in the southwest too, we have the same law before, which children can marry earlier. That is the olden days. Okay. So because of the bad thing they've done, that is the reason why they want to hold on to it. When children marry in our country that time, both Hausas and Yoruba, and even in the East, their mother are there to take good care of them. It's the mother who have the baby, who will be taking care of the children. But now we are in civilized country now. The old world has opened. So they should forget about the old law and continue with the new constituency.
But then, Princess Rose, it's not just about the fact of the old law, is it? Because the medical effects, the damaging, effects of this, of marriage with a younger child, a younger person, as it were, when they're not fully mature,
Yeah, that's what we are saying. Olden days, we don't know. If those children died that time, then we said that maybe somebody killed them, not knowing that it's because of they married them earlier. But now we know the problem, the causes of them dying earlier. So they should click onto that. And the ladies, what do you call them? The deputy president, his wife, and the women of the north, they made a meeting that nobody will marry. So they should stand up now and go against their decision.
All right. Thank you very much, Princess Rose.
God bless.
Thank you. God bless you too. I mean, it's amazing.
Very, very amazing.
How this whole situation has sort of united everybody in this business of, in this response of, it should not happen.
And I'm getting convinced that that's what has been debated in the House, which is not what has been debated. So I'm just getting convinced everybody is making
no, you see, the thing is, the debate started off on the citizenship thing. But I think it got turned around when Senator Yarima stood up and said that for him, it was against his Islamic beliefs.
That particular section,
yes,
he is saying is going to touch on customary laws and Sharia laws,
yes,
and the Constitution is not supposed to do that.
The Constitution has to. Breaking news! Finally, the Duchess has given birth. Congratulations to the Duchess and the Duke of Cambridge.
A baby.
It's a boy. Wow! Congratulations! That's fantastic. Well done, Kate. At least she has. She's given birth like everybody else. So the girl's worked hard. If you've been through labor, you will know it hasn't been easy because she's been in labor for hours. Congratulations, congratulations.
6 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, from 6 a.m. this morning, she had been in the hospital. It probably started before then. And, congratulations to Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and welcome to the world, little boy. We welcome you. But, as we were saying, yes, their conversation was initially about citizenship. Yes. And it transgressed from citizenship to this subject of marriage because one man completely changed the agenda of the day.
Yeah, that's the one side of the story. And the other side of the story is that he only mentioned that it's going to touch on the Sharia and customary law, which the Constitution is not supposed to do so. But we Nigerians, we know there's a Child Act of 2003 that was passed.
Do we all know that there's a Child Act?
Yeah.
Okay, we have Emmanuel on the line. We're going to come back to the Child Act. Good evening, Emmanuel. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Emmanuel. Where are you calling from, please?
Daniel.
Okay. What's your contribution, please?
Yeah, please, I got two questions. Number one, the man is talking about education, to educate people. You understand? The man spoke earlier about education.
Yes.
I think the people that are going to do the Constitution, they need to be educated. I'm sorry, that's my opinion.
Okay, you're saying that the senators in the Senate need to be educated, okay?
Proper educated. I'm sorry, they need.
Oh, I'm losing you. Emmanuel, I've lost you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. And number two, please, is it the Sharia law, is it applied to everyone in Nigeria or only some part of Nigeria?
Let the good solicitor answer that, sir.
Just to part of Nigeria, not every Nigeria. Not even in some states, just to